This for close to 10 years now. This is going to be our 10th year in business at Art Storefronts. And I think on paper, we have like a little bit over 13,000 customers, somewhere around there. So we've got a lot of reps and sets over the years, made a ton of mistakes, and learned a ton on how to actually grow an art and photography business, and what are the ones that are actually growing and providing a growth year after year and a reasonable income. And I love starting out talking about that because I think it's important, and I think it's important that sort of everyone is aware of what your options are out there and how to sort of weigh those options. And so I'm going to cover, in terms of this New Year's plan, essentially three pieces. One, the revenue sources that exist in today's day and age if you want to make it as a successful artist and photographer, the unvarnished version, if you like. Two, we'll talk about the marketing problem because every single solitary one of you have one and it's not going away. And then three, we will get into the perspective piece, which I think derails more art and photography careers than just about anything else. But let's talk about the revenue models, broadly speaking, out there, and to keep the conversation focused. I say this to my customers all the time. I have never met a revenue source that I don't like that's legal. Okay? You guys are artists. You guys are creatives. Quite frankly, I do not give a damn how you monetize those talents, just that you do monetize those talents and make a career and make a business for yourself. That being said, as we focus on the fine art portion of it and not the service portions, i.e. actually selling wall art and merchandise, there's some succinct ways to look at that. And so let's focus on that and ignore, the service portions of photography or the service portions of teaching as an artist or selling courses or anything else. And there's really only three ways to make it in today's day and age, right? There's the number one way all of you guys dream and aspire to, which is you got to just create the art. You got to be in an art gallery that handles all the marketing and selling for you. And then you take home, let's say, 6 figures a year, right? That is the dream that every single solitary person on this call has. If there was a button you could push to make that a reality, you would all push it, right? But no one ever talks about like the true nuts and bolts of the gallery model or what it looks like or what it represents. And I think it's important to. And so let's just use an example of someone that is selling exclusively through a gallery. And they're selling 6 figures a year in the gallery, $100,000 a year, just to make it nice and round. Okay. Well, the gallery is going to take 50% of that. So that's a 50% haircut right off the bat. So that means you are left with $50,000 from your $100,000 in sales. You then get to subtract your studio rent, your photography equipment, your painting supplies, your canvas, anything that you put into the business. And what are you left with then? 40 or 35,000 at the end of the year. So that makes it particularly challenging. Okay. But what makes it even more challenging is in the gallery model, you don't have any idea who's purchasing your work. No idea. You have no idea who your actual customers are. And it's one of the biggest disasters that people fall into in this business. I got to grab his book here. Hold on. It's down here. I love this book. I think you should all buy this book. I think you should all read this book. It's by Weiland. Weiland is the whale guy. Most people would say he's the best-selling artist in the United States. I think he does $50 or $60 million a year through all of his galleries. So he highlights it specifically, and over the course of the years, I've seen it. But art and photography, especially regular, consistent, revenue-positive, and growing art and photography businesses rely upon collectors. A collector is someone that will purchase multiple pieces of artwork from you over the course of a lifetime. Weiland defines those folks as purchasing upwards of 7+ pieces of work from him over the course of a lifetime. You keep creating. You let people know that you've been creating. These folks just keep coming back and they purchase again and again and again. And my position is that if you are not cultivating, finding out who your buyers are, and working towards building a list of collectors, you'll never truly have a business that you own that's growing and where you control things. And, I've got some customers who have been at it for years and years and years, and they have done great cultivating a list of collectors that they've done over the decades. And they come out with a new series, and the new series has 20 pieces in it, and they let the collectors know before anyone else. And 15 of those pieces are gone before the public even gets to see it, right? Like the collectors to any art or photography business represent sort of the base salary you guys get for getting out of bed and creating in the morning. It represents the 401k, if you like, right? Guaranteed, distributions or Social Security, if you like. And I don't know how you build a long-term sustainable art business if you do not know who is purchasing your work. I just don't. And, I've been running 3 of these sessions a day. 3 of these sessions a week, like just about every week since right around the time COVID started. And nothing was more terrifying to me and drove this point home more than when COVID hit and everything got locked down and a whole bunch of artists and photographers that were selling extremely well and doing so exclusively through galleries were on these calls going, Patrick, I have no email list. I have no social media presence. I have no idea who's ever purchased my work. I was pretty much guaranteed a check of $10, $20, $30,000 a month from that gallery, and now it's gone and my art is locked up there. Help. Right? The sheer terror on these people's faces that were overly reliant on one particular revenue source. And so I think that's really important to understand, right? As I go through these three ways to make art, like I love hybrid models of all three, but thinking to be overly reliant on the gallery model and not knowing who is purchasing your work is not a long-term recipe for success, because you could be hot in a gallery today and you could be not in it at all tomorrow, okay? Notwithstanding the fact that that business model really got crushed during COVID and it's kind of going away. But anyway, let's make the situation even a little bit more rosier than it is. And let's say you're selling $300,000 a year in that gallery, okay? So then you're taking home $150,000 a year, right? And after your expenses, that's maybe $120,000, $130,000. That's a great living wage. You're doing fantastic, right? That's incredible. The number of artists and photographers that are at that level in the United States is higher than the top 1% of artists and photographers. Stated another way, do you know someone that plays a sport? It's like that versus the number of people you know that are professional athletes. Pick a sport. That is how low the odds are that you guys as artists or photographers, or anyone for that matter, is going to get to a point where you're selling $300,000 a year in a gallery. And so I think it's really important to put those numbers out there. Like, everybody talks about the gallery, but no one ever talks about the nuts and bolts of what that business actually looks like. And are you going to be able to support your family, especially not knowing who's purchasing your work? So I'm not anti-gallery, okay? I love it in a blended hybrid mode. But I think thinking that you're going to get in there and you're going to crush it and you're going to do incredibly well is like, okay, well, how good are you at golf really? Do you think you're Tiger Woods? Because the odds say you're not Tiger Woods, right? And I think it's important to say. And that's okay to say. Or are you going to start your own galleries, in which that changes it a little bit. Number two way you can make it as an artist or photographer today. Very successful way to do it. A lot of people do this really, really well. It is become a road warrior, okay? Do the show and fair circuit. Across this country, there are so many different shows and fairs that you can do, and you get a booth, you pay the booth fees, you show up, you exhibit all weekend long, you're on your feet, you're talking to tons of buyers, you're building a list of your own collectors, you're capturing emails. It is an absolutely great way to grow an art business. The problem is it's hell on your body. You have to travel. You have to be away from your loved ones. Some of them are hits, some of them are duds. And so the only way you can be successful at it is if you do enough of them to make up for those ones that are good, that are bad with the ones that are hitting it out of the park. And then one time your booth gets blown over by a tornado or whatever, so you have to be able to deal with all of those things. But I love it. Like if I was an artist or photographer and I was in my 20s, I'd be like, Patrick, you have no significant other. You don't have a mortgage. Okay. You don't even have a dog. You are loading the car up and you're doing the show and fair circuit for the next 7 to 8 to 10 years of your life, because now is when you can do it, when you have the energy, and you'll have that list of collectors and you'll have that list of buyers that you can lean on, and you'll learn what truly sells, right? Okay, fine. The third way is obviously selling directly from your website, in which you keep all of the revenue, in which you are acutely aware of who is purchasing your work. The upside of this is it's quite incredible with POD today. What is POD? POD stands for print on demand. It used to be back in the day that, you would have to go down to a print shop. Maybe you would have to order 20 or 30 prints, and so you have inventory. Then you would have to ship these things and send tracking numbers and go back and forth between the emails. Now you don't have to do any of that, and that's a glorious thing. If you're artists creating originals, yes, you still have to worry about creating the originals and getting those out. There's no magic carpet that helps with that yet. But for everything else, the fact that POD exists, both in merch and in prints, is absolutely staggering. And don't take that as like a sales pitch. Like we're not the only ones that offer it. There's a whole bunch of other outfits that do. But it's incredible. No minimums, no inventory. You get an order, the order gets printed, shipped, your logo gets slapped on the side of the box, boom, it gets shipped out. You don't lift a finger. That's incredible, right? That makes this business incredible in that regards. And again, it works with merch and it works with inventory. The rub is that you have to learn how to market, and you have to learn how to get your name out there, and you have to learn how to market on the social media sites. And because I have 13,000 customers and I work with them on a weekly basis, I know that is the number one thing that none of you want to do, right? None of you want to market. None of you want to market consistently. You never have marketed consistently. Most of you have treated your marketing like the New Year's resolution. You're going to the gym 4 days a week in January. March rolls around. You haven't been once all month. Quit. Some time passes, and then you get expired again, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And that is like the destructive cycle that like all artists and photographers fall into. Now, what's great about selling direct and doing it all is this has utterly, totally, and completely changed everything. Before, you used to more or less be geographically limited to where you are. Now the fact that everyone's on these things all day long, which means you can reach more buyers, you can find your tribe, your niche, the people that respond to your work better than any other time in history. The rub is you got to do the work, and doing the work is not fun, right? It's just not fun. And I understand that. I'm like, we have this big presentation coming up internally for customers. And one of the things that I'm like tasked with doing is writing what my predictions are for next year. They think I'm like the oracle. What the hell is going to happen next year? I'm not. The one thing I would say though, is that like the biggest problem we have is you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Meaning, I can have the best marketing education. I can teach you how to run a live art show, how to post on Instagram, how to post on Facebook, how to run a sale, how omni-channel marketing works, how to price your art. But getting you guys to do the work is damn difficult. Getting you to do the work consistently is even more difficult. And getting you not to quit is the Mount Everest of all of it, okay? Been doing this for a long time, and I understand acutely how it works and how it works with all of my customers. Our job really fundamentally at the end of the day is just to make sure our customers don't quit. That's it. That's it. Because it's the hardest thing to do in this business. And it is the one thing that all artists and photographers do. You create the work. You don't ever do enough marketing to get the work in front of enough eyeballs to find out if it will actually sell. Then some time passes. You get bored. You move on to some new work and then rinse and repeat. You don't get that work in front of enough eyeballs to know whether you actually sell. So you go through your art creating life, creating all of this work, and then never doing the work to find out if the work will actually sell. And it ends up becoming the vicious cycle of this particular business, right? The last piece that I like to talk about is perspective, and then I'll kind of pivot into like what we've done as a business. I've started teasing on some of it. But the perspective piece I find is the biggest problem too. The perspective is how long it takes to grow a successful art photography business. The short answer is it takes 3 to 5 years to grow anything of value in today's day and age. That's not my line, that's Steve Jobs. I would even go as far to say it's like 7 to 10 years. And the perspective piece works for you and it works against you. It works against you in the short term because you're like, I should have success in 2 weeks. Why don't I? Why haven't I sold $100,000 in 3 months? I posted on Facebook 9 times. I have 30 people on my email list and I haven't sold $10,000 worth of art. What is going on here? And then you quit. And then it works for you against you in the long term because you don't realize how much time you have left to get it right. Okay? You don't realize how much time you have if you can just put in some regular and consistent effort and not quit, how much time you have left to get it right. And let me qualify that. 3 of these a week since right around the COVID times, right? I routinely get people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and occasionally even in their 90s on these calls coming and asking me, how can I grow my art business? What is the best way to grow my art business? Do you have any advice? And what I've come to realize is your guys' particular gifting, okay, it's the Hotel California principle. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. The desire to want to sell your creations, to keep creating, and then to want to sell your creations does not go away. It does not go away. It stays with you for the rest of your life, and I found that is just the way that you guys are wired. When you realize that, you realize, okay, I know I'm going to keep creating. I know I'm going to want to sell. I know I'm going to want to have this business. So what can I do differently this year, okay, to ensure that I'll actually get the work in front of enough eyeballs to have something and have it start growing and not quit? And that's the ball game. And if you look at the evolution of what we've started, what we've done as a business at Art Storefronts, first we had websites. We created the best websites for selling art and photography that exist online. It's not really braggadocio or hyperbole. We don't really have any direct competition. And we have way more features than anyone else has. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The website is an utter, total, complete commodity. I don't care where you get your website. Get your website anywhere. Get your website from us. Get your website from Squarespace or Wix or Weebly or WordPress or any of the rest of them. It doesn't matter. It's a fancy restaurant with no one inside of it. Whether it's ours, the nicest restaurant in the world, or it's yours, it's just a restaurant with no one inside of it. And it doesn't matter. If no one's inside of it, they can't see your decor. They can't see how awesome the food is. They can't see how awesome the bar is or anything else because it's not the problem. The website is not the problem. Marketing is the problem. So we started trying to fix the website problem, realized that's not enough. Then we started trying to fix the marketing problem. That started out with DIY education. how to price your art, how to post on Facebook, how to post on Instagram, how to run a live art show, how to do in-person fairs and shows, all of the things that you struggle to do with. That wasn't enough because no one wants to read a textbook on their own and then go and do it. And so then we've morphed into a calendar that tells you what to do 365 days a year. And then we moved into sessions just like this that we call office hours. And there's essentially Zoom sessions for our customers. We run 9 a week, which we all meet week in, week out, 52 weeks a year. And we talk about how to do this, how to do that, when to do this, when to do that, you know, how to do a print giveaway, how to think about the upcoming Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, or the Christmas sale, or the New Year's sale, whatever promotional activity we're doing. And that's been hugely helpful because now all of my customers are in community, all doing this together, all on Zoom sessions, week in, week out, continuing to learn. But all I've come to realize is that all that does is just keeps people from quitting. It keeps people focused, getting out of bed every single solitary day. And whereas before they would stop marketing because they did not get the immediate results that they wanted, now they stay focused, they keep working, they keep working, they keep working. And that's essentially become the ballgame. I realized that the motivation, the support, the community, and the encouragement is just as important as any technological piece or anything else. Because if you guys can just get out of your own damn way and stay working consistently on the one thing that you don't want to work on, which is the marketing, you'll all be successful. That's it. Because everyone else quits. And that's what you're competing against. Everyone else that's just going to quit every single solitary time, not get the work in front of enough eyeballs. You stay at it, you do, you'll win. It doesn't even matter what the art is. It honestly doesn't. And that's like the striking truth of the world that we live in today. And the sooner you learn it, the sooner you realize, like, he's right. If I don't work on the marketing and I don't take that portion seriously, okay, I don't have to do it all overnight. I just have to do it consistently and not quit. I will have a business. It doesn't matter if you sign up with us or not. I'm talking period. That is how you make it, and that's how you become successful in this business. And that is the one area that plagues most artists, most photographers, is they quit. Some time passes, and then they get inspired again, and then rinse and repeat. So that's the ballgame. That's what we do. So what we do as a business at Art Storefronts. That's sort of been our evolution. That's not going to change anytime soon. We help you solve the marketing problem, and we keep you from quitting and going consistently. Because being an artist, being a photographer, you're a solopreneur. It's a lonely road. It's up and down, up and down, up and down, emotional roller coaster. And it always has been and always will be. But enough of my yapping. We can get right into the Q&A, and we can just start with some questions, and then I've got some other things to talk about if we are so inclined. How do you ask questions? If you've got questions, if you're one of the brave ones that has your camera on, all you have to do is go the old school hand raise. And either I or Andrea will see that. We can unmute you, bring you on. For everyone else, at the bottom of the Zoom window, there's a way to raise your hand, digitally speaking. I think it actually says raise hand. You can see that I just did that on my end. That lets me know if you have questions and I can bring you on. And then, you know, if you're one of the ones that's watching on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, I can see your comments. Patrick, really like that first name, pal. I can see yours. Yes, it is live. All right. It usually just takes one brave soul to kick us off. Do we have that brave soul today? Oh, Terrence, good for you. Give me a little sideways peace sign. I'll take it. You're up first, Terrence. Go ahead. You'll need to unmute, but just click the mic icon, and that should do it.
Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Okay, what like DPI do you recommend for the images, for the files?
Yeah, so have you already photographed the work, or are you going to photograph the work, or are you a photographer?
I have a photographer that will photograph the work, and he's done some at 350 DPI.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really great photographer. Is that too much to do over the?
No, not at all. So what happens is our software, you upload the image, our software analyzes the image and says, hey, based on the quality of this image, here's how big you can go, right? So the higher DPI you get is just how much bigger do you need to go. So I'm sure you'll probably be just fine at 350 DPI.
Okay. And then my other question is, I do ink drawings on 22 by 30. Yeah, there's no restriction on ink drawings.
No, not in the slightest.
Okay. And then if I want to actually sign up, who do I deal with to sign up?
So we do a demo process. The demo is basically where you test drive the car. Like you get in a Zoom session with somebody and they show you all the bells, all the whistles, all the pricing, all the plans.
Yeah, I've seen the demo and the pricing and the plans, and there's. I'd like to kind of close in on this by the end of the year.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have somebody reach out to you, Terrence. I'll write down your name right now before I forget, because what do I always do is I always forget, and then you don't have to fill out any form or go do any annoying thing on my website if that works with you.
Right, and it's still valid for the build, the manage, and all that for life, right? Is that correct?
They changed the deals up a little bit, and I am not actually 100% certain what the one is today. I'll find out. It is certainly some combination of that, but you can always go to battle with them and try to beat. Just don't tell them I told you, and just
Okay.
say, hey, I
Okay.
want that thing you offered before. Otherwise, I'm not sorry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exact.
you gotta
That's
play. You gotta play
exact.
hardball sometimes. Just don't tell them I told you to do it.
Okay. No, that's exactly. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel. Okay, thank you,
Yeah.
Patrick.
I'm like such the worst like salesperson. I'm like the anti-salesperson. I'm like, look, all I want are people that are going to sign up and they're going to be like, Patrick, I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to hit this hard. I know you're going to scream at me and harass me and bribe me, but you will keep me moving. You're going to keep me learning how to navigate and how to market on these social platforms. And I know if I can just get through it, I will have the business. Right? That's what I'm looking for in the grand scheme of things. So it's what everyone needs. It's the whole ballgame. All right, Melanie, you're up next. Go ahead, Melanie. By the way, do you see how pleasant the composition Melanie's got going on in her little Zoom picture? She's like perfectly on the right. The tree's beautiful on the left. Yep.
So I think that the reason that we don't market is because we don't know how. So
Yeah.
what I'm gathering is you tell us how to do that, and education takes the fear away, and it just becomes how we live our life.
Yes. Well, it's everything, right? Like, yes, education takes some of the fear away. Yes, doing all of the above in community with a group of your peers keeps you motivated, right? Because you're like, wait a minute, if they can do it, I can do it, right? Always having support when you get hung up on something, and I don't just mean like, phone support or ticket support, but you can jump into a Zoom with someone. That helps,
right?
Okay?
Yeah.
I occasionally resort to harassment and bribery to keep you moving. Okay, that helps. But in every case, it's everything that we can do to get you going and go you through it, because like it's a lot, it's a lot. And what's crazy is that it's moving so quickly. Like everything is constantly changing. Like, yeah, the social networks are important, but there's so much tradecraft and nuance within the social networks that you can't stop learning. None of us can stop learning. It's like everyone's eyeballs are on this thing. We have to figure out how to get on this thing all the time. And that's what we do.
Right.
And that's what we
Right.
do. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I have to choose the one thing to master next year, and I think this is probably obviously it.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Thank you.
I think every artist, and again, I don't mean it as like a sales pitch. We're not the only way that you can go about doing it, right? But the narrative I sort of gave up front, it's like, I don't know what other revenue models is possible in today's day and age. Like, you have to be selling direct, and you have to be understanding who your collectors are. And you have to do it yourself. There's no one that's going to do it for you, right? Like there's so few artists that ever make it any other way. So it's like, this is the way that you got to go about it. And again, there's plenty of outfits to do it, but if you can commit to it, you're going to be on the path. You're going to be on the path.
I have been doing the local shows. I do local like travel posters for the area which I
awesome.
live.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned this year, after doing the same kind of show circuit for 2 years, that I do have collectors, and people come to me and they go, hey, do you remember me? I bought so-and-so. And I'm like, yes, thank you. And really, I don't. And if I would do more than just stand there and talk to them, if I would write it down, if I would do what you want us to do, then it would work.
Yep. And then they're going to be with you for life. It's a beautiful thing, like the collector phenomenon, right? Like an industry should be so lucky to have it as a phenomenon. And it really, like, my eyes have been so opened on it over the years, because the people, I'll give you a Thor instance. Like, one of the things that I rant on incessantly is pricing. Okay. And I get really perturbed about pricing. And pricing is like one of these things that paralyzes artists, paralyzes photographers. How am I going to price my art? Is there some sort of formula? Is there something that I can do? And what I find universally, and this all goes back to the collector thing, okay? Pricing is easy. There's a formula for it, and it's nothing to do with the amount of time you spent on something, or square inch times canvas times hour invested, any of that nonsense. Pricing is just a range. You have to have items priced from $0 to $100. You have to have non-wall art as a part of your lineup. You have to have items priced from 1,000, 100 to 1,000, and then you need to have items priced 1,000 and over. And the reason for this, okay, is that there is a socioeconomic bell curve that each and every one of us is on. You know, low-income folks, lower middle class, upper middle class, high net worth individuals. And so if you have prices for everyone on that scale, you're going to acquire more customers. Then also, when you have the range of pricing, 0 to 100 is not a big decision for a lot of people. You can make an impulse purchase at that, right? Maybe I'm not ready to buy wall art, but I like your creativity, and maybe I'll get a coffee mug or a mouse pad or whatever it is. So, okay, great. Why do I bring all that up? I bring all that up because this is a collector-driven business. And the artist or the photographer that acquires more new customers per year, no matter what price point, stands the ability to turn more of them into collectors. And if they become a collector, they're with you for life. And so I look at so many artists or photographers that get entrenched on how they want to price things. And I ask them, like, how many new customers did you acquire last year? And they're like, 7. And I'm like, okay, you acquired 7 new customers. Then I teach people about pricing, and I teach people about not having non-wall art. And let's say I taught you that, and you went and did all those shows that you did, you would have acquired 300 or 400 customers, maybe 500 in those shows that you did. Okay, so year 1, you have 500. Year 2, we're going to take that to 1,500. Year 3, let's say that we take that to 4,500. Out of that 4,500, maybe you got 75 collectors. That means you're going to have those purchases every single solitary year for the rest of your art selling career. That's it. That's the game. How many new customers are you acquiring? And no one can afford to ignore it. It's so important. It's so, so important. So I've got a really good guide on pricing. I'm going to send you guys after the fact, so don't worry. But like so many artists and photographers, it's not your guys' fault. There was none of these classes at art school. There were never any of these classes, how to price your art. There was never any of these classes at photography school. They didn't tell you the importance of number of new customers acquired per year, the fact that the easiest customer to get is the one that you already have. But once you learn them and you stick to them, then you're on your way to having a business, and that's the great thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Got me ranting there. Kristen was asking about, I'm going to go back and see hands. Kristen was asking about returns. Yeah, returns are a total non-issue at all. It rarely happens. And then if it's anything damaged at all, the printers just take care of it. They completely cover it, which is nice. It's the middle of winter, but my wife is sick, which means it is a sauna in here. I mean, if I went out there, she probably has the heat turned to 75. I'm roasting over here, you guys. I'm going to turn the lights out for a second. I'm going to go mildly darker. Literally, someone's going to have to give me some SPF 40. All right. Who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Oh, yep, Mickey. See your hand up. Gotcha. Go ahead. Get you unmuted there.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi.
An issue I am confronting lately is I do a lot of my work as digital. So when I do share it online, I have to be so careful about it not being stolen.
Erroneous.
And
no.
Is there a way to do it other than just putting a big ugly watermark over something? Or
yeah. So one, everyone always tells me like, oh, I'm so worried that it's going to get stolen. Okay. And for those people that are like dig their heels in there, I say, yeah, fine, put a watermark on it. But no one's stealing anyone's art. It just does not happen in any measurable amount whatsoever. Everyone always tells me that it does. But the reality is that like really, if you want to be a successful artist or photographer, you got 99 problems. And let me tell you, someone stealing your work from you posting a digital image is not one of them. That doesn't even rank on like anywhere near the scale of things to worry about. Now, what you need to worry about is, my guess is if I go to wherever you're posting this, it's always just the digital image, and it's never this, is it? You don't sell JPEGs, Mickey. You sell things that look like this. They're 3-dimensional. They're real, right? They can go hanging on a wall. What I find digital artists mess up with the most is thinking that everyone has the same powers of visualization that you do. We don't. I need to see the actual product ideally being held in your hot little hand way more than what you're doing right now. Way more than what you're doing. So you can win way more by getting some of this work printed out, and so you can show it off, than you would just sharing and worrying about it. And, you know, Laura rightly points out that watermarks can easily be removed. Like, AI is getting so fast. First of all, AI has already scanned everyone's artwork, and we're gonna deal with that and legal issues, I think, coming up in the future. But yeah, the watermarks can be pulled out so easily. It's not one of those things that you need to stress about.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if and when it does happen, Mickey, I will teach you how to sue, which is really easy to do. But just know that when it does, if it does, you're winning, because that is a massive endorsement that your work is incredible. And it just doesn't really happen at scale. Everyone always talks about it like, so-and-so's work got ripped off and put here and put there. And then I always investigate and I can't find a damn thing. And it's like, first of all, you heard that from somebody who heard that from somebody that doesn't even know who the person is, and they were lying. Stop it. You got 99 problems. Worry about getting the artwork in front of enough eyeballs. Do not worry about the watermarks. No one cares. You got to print these things out too and show them off. The merchandising is like such an important aspect of it. You don't sell JPEGs. If I come to your Instagram profile and I see 2D image after 2D image after 2D image, I am bored. And I'm bored not because you're not a good artist, but all we are bombarded with all day long are just JPEG after JPEG after JPEG. What we almost never get to see is your smiling face actually holding the thing that you're asking people to purchase. One of the ways that I love to articulate it is like, if my business was making knives and selling knives, and I hired you to sell knives for me, when you knocked on that door, what would you have with you? Would you have the knives, or would you have a photo of the knives? Because if you had a photo of the knives, you better be a pretty damn good salesman. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to be selling any. And yet, what do I see that everyone posts all day long? They're not holding the knives. They're holding photos of the knives. And that doesn't work. That doesn't work to get sales over the line. And I know it's hard, especially if you're a photographer, because you're like, I don't want to be getting things printed out all the time, but you have to. And they don't have to be huge, right? Like, you have to be able to. Oh, you don't know what acrylic looks like? Let me just show you what acrylic looks like. Look at how beautiful the reflection is. Here it is. It's ready to hang. You don't need a frame for this. It's great in the bathroom because water can condense all over it. You can just wipe it off, right? Like, show me the thing. Don't say, look at this image and then imagine it on your wall, because you've already failed at that point, right? And that's how it goes. All right. What else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Could be anything about anything. Honestly, it doesn't even have to be about anything Art Storefronts related. If you got, hey, I'm thinking about doing this or that in my art or photography business, I think it could help me. What do you think? Yeah, Tom's asking, can I address sculpture? The same applies to sculpture. Sculpture is a little bit of a different animal usually, in the sense that, like, what do your prices start at? Because if it's really, really high, your prices are like, starting above 2,000 or 3,000, 5,000, somewhere around there, then the sales cycle is a little bit different, meaning you're usually leveraging your website to try and get into a Zoom session with the prospective buyer so you can talk about the work and show it off, rather than saying, hey, go to my website and purchase this. So it changes things a little bit that way. But folks in sculpture, as it turns out, suffer all the same problems that normal everyday artists do, which is you all have a huge marketing problem, and until you solve it, you're not going to be selling any sculpture. Albeit sculpture has some minor shipping issues thrown in sometimes, depending on how much that stuff weighs, right? So that's what I would say. But who else, guys? Questions, comments, concerns? Can be anything about anything. Yep, Jay, I got you. Hold on. Go ahead, Jay.
I was thinking about, I'm trying to drive people to my website, jbrightart.com, where I have a lot of flags and a lot of things that I've shown well and I've sold a little bit. I wonder if advertising on National Public Radio or the Connecticut Public Radio, trying to drive people to the website, is a reasonable strategy. Correct. I don't get many views of the website. I can track how many people looked last month. I know how many. It's not very many. It's under 100. Yeah.
And most of those are probably bots and smaller number of visits.
Right.
I'm very passionate about the subject of advertising, and it's a really, really complicated question at the end of the day. I should say I've run, I don't know, maybe 50, 60, 70, $80 million worth of Facebook and Instagram ads over the course of my career at this point, as well as advertising in a number of different printed publications, including radio, including AM public radio, which I actually worked in for a hot minute. So here's what I would say broadly. Over the 10 years that I have been in this business, there's only one thing I've seen that's universally true about artists and photographers advertising. In those 10 years, I've never seen a single solitary one do it ever consistently. Meaning I'll see someone that starts doing it and they'll be around for some short period of time and then poof, they'll disappear. I have not seen a single solitary person that's made it more than 6 months in any of the channels. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I just haven't seen them. Now I'm sure in some of the painting magazines there are, but let me finish, I'll explain. And the reason they all quit is obviously because the ROI is not there. But what's flawed is this premise that you as an artist can somehow show your work for the first time to people that you don't know, i.e. cold audiences, and say, hey, this is for sale, come buy my work. Because that's not how it works. That's not how art and photography sell. People don't on a whim say, I need art or photography today. Ooh, I just saw this ad, boom, I'm gonna go buy it, right? It's not, by nature, it is not an impulse type of a purchase. So normal cold advertising, I find, does not work. That's number one. Number two, anyone that has any experience in advertising understands the effective frequency. Number of times someone needs to be exposed to a message before they can make a purchase buying decision. There's some people that say the number is 7. There's some people that say it's 50 and everything in between, depending on what textbook you read. What I know is that if you can't afford to market consistently in ads or can't afford to advertise consistently, and let's just say for like 6 months to a year, then you can't afford to do it, period. Okay? Because it's not going to work. Because you're not going to get to an effective frequency that's enough that these folks might come back and purchase. Okay? Especially knowing that art and photography are seasonal businesses, right? That sell more towards the end of the year. But I'm also someone that has lectured extensively on the fact that smart artists and photographers don't run ads, they do this. What this is what I like to call a print giveaway, but I call it the loop, okay? You know you need more email addresses, right? More new customers. You want to get your return customers to come back. And so you offer a print of your work, could be a small original if you're so inclined, and you say, hey guys, I'm giving away such and such. To enter to win, all you have to do is put your email address in here, okay? After the period of time is done and you've captured the emails, you say, okay, guys, here I am. I'm announcing the winner. Congratulations, so-and-so. For everyone else, I'm just like you. I don't ever win anything either. So go ahead and take 15% off store-wide for the next 48 hours. Use coupon code such and such. Now, I call that little concept the loop. Here I am, I want your email address, and so I'm willing to pay with a print or with merch. You're going to give me email addresses. I'm going to send that piece, that print, okay, to somebody for free. Afterwards, I'm going to run a sale, okay? I call that the loop because it's circular, and it works everywhere that it's tried, right? Melanie was talking about how doing it at shows. I have all my customers do it at shows, okay? They put the fishbowl out at the front of the booth. Everyone comes in and either puts their email address on the clipboard or puts the business card in the fishbowl. After it's over, you're like, boom, here's the winner from my weekend show. Thanks for entering. For everyone else, here's 15% off. Okay, what about the chicken and the egg problem? You don't have a big enough audience, okay, because you have 6 emails on there, your significant other and your mother. Okay, thanks, Mom, for following me, but that's not going to help me with the print giveaway. So how do you expose that to someone else? Okay, now let's talk about your NPR thing in Connecticut, right, or your radio thing. Hey, guys, it's me, Jay Bright, from jbrightart.com. I'm a huge fan of this radio station, and as a way of me wanting to give back, I'm running a print giveaway. It's from here to here. To enter to win, go there, right? And do that a couple of times. The takeaway of what you did there is that you don't have a big enough audience to do it, but you went and found a way into a big audience, and then you do it, right? Another example, just so people can kind of to rationalize it, is like, let's say you paint German Shepherds, okay? And that is what you do. You paint or you photograph German Shepherds. So you go onto Instagram, and you find someone that's got a German Shepherd influencer account, right? And these people start accounts for their pets, and some of these people have like 10 million followers on them, right? So you call that person up, and you're like, hey, I would love to do a print giveaway with you. You iron it out, and then they post your print giveaway to their 10 million followers. It's no different than the NPR model. The takeaway in all of that is don't spend money on the ads. What you spend money on is giving away the print. What it costs to print and ship that print is your advertising cost. That is an effective way to advertise. If and only if you're marketing consistently after the fact, right? Because you do this, you're going to be getting email addresses all the time, all year long. Like we instruct our customers to run one of these a month to their own lists, okay? And by the way, they are great at getting collectors to come back and buy again because they're like, oh, this is fun. I don't really care about winning that print, but is such and such, or can I talk to you about a commission, right? It just works across the board. So once a month to their existing audiences, and then going outside and finding the new audiences, your radio station example, the German Shepherd example, Melanie at her shows example, and do that. The combination of those two, instead of ending up at the year with 18 people on your email list, you now have 1,800. Well, guess what happens when you run a sale with 1,800 people on your email list? You actually make sales, right? You're actually growing the business. And so as long as you keep marketing consistently, you want to be gathering as many of those emails as possible. And by the way, the loop works wherever. Oh, there's a big charity in your area, right? And they're having their huge gala dinner where you know all the high net worth individuals are going. Guess who's giving them a limited edition? You are, right? And letting them know it's 1 of 4. And then boom, you're there to get the rest of them, right? Or run a sale after the fact. So it works in literally any capacity imaginable. I mean, oh, you have a friend that has a coffee shop, or you got into a restaurant, or you got into the doctor's office. Okay, well then put a QR code underneath the work that you're hanging in there for free. When someone scans the QR code, they're immediately redirected to your website where they can enter to win a print, right? So we look for all of these types of situations that are unique to the benefits and what our customers have and bring to the table, and you spend money on the prints. Those are the ads. Don't give the money to Facebook. Don't give the money to Instagram. Don't give the money to anyone else. Give it to a print giveaway. So we do all kinds of hacky stuff like that.
This is just right. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Lucid explanation.
Yeah. Thank you. Been doing this for a while, and I get infuriated because what everyone does, Jay, and you're probably. My guess is, okay, not to be an ageist here, that you're not super active on Instagram every single solitary day. On Instagram, they give you this little button. Jay's like, actually, I have 100,000 followers. Thanks, Dick. Just kidding. But there's a button on Instagram and on Facebook that says boost post, right? And it's essentially like the slot machine, of gambling, right? Like, ooh, I can give Facebook or Instagram $50 or $100, and this is going to go out and see a bunch of people. And everyone ends up doing that. And I'm always like, look, save the money, go out in your backyard, light it on fire. At least you'll get to see it burn, and you get some warmth out of it, okay? Do not hit the boost post button. That is not going to do anything for you ever under any circumstances. So save the money, okay? Or you could come here and put it on the heater that's right outside of my office. My wife is cooking me. You wouldn't even need to light it on fire. Anyway, that's how I feel about it. So these are the types of things that we teach you to do literally all year long. It's really, really important. Yeah.
I'm sorry I entered this late due to a schedule problem.
Mm-hmm.
Did you talk about pricing on a square inch basis?
No, pricing on a square inch basis is complete bullshit. Whoever came up with that magical theory, I'd like to do pistols at dawn. I mentioned earlier, you weren't on, but I went over my whole rant in terms of pricing, that pricing is not about some sort of magical formula. Really, it's about having a range of pricing. And then once you have that, you're pretty much good to go. All the people, it's funny, all the people that like talk about the formulas, like square inch times this, times that, times media type, they can only do that if they really actively have demand, right? With demand, you can do anything. And so it's very easy to come up with magical theories, this, that, and the other, when you have a ton of demand. It's impossible when you don't, because literally the only thing that matters is the work actually selling. So my experience, understanding the range and having a range, and I'll go over it again quickly because it's quick. 0 to 100, non-wall art is a part of the lineup. 100 to 1,000, and then 1,000 plus. And I have in-depth reasons for all of that. I'm going to send you guys all, as soon as this thing's over, I'm going to send you an email that has the article on it. It's called My Advanced Guide to Pricing. It's totally free. I think you guys should all read it. Very, very important. Once you get that dialed in, it makes everything else so much easier, including raising your prices. So that's sort of how I like to approach it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. And I'll send you the replay too if you want to go back and.
Great.
Yeah, thanks, Jay. All right, guys. Who else? Comments, questions? One thing I can do too for anyone, if you guys are already here and you've never seen a demo, so our demo process is, like I said, it's cool. You get one-on-one in a Zoom call with someone on our outreach team. Notice how we call them outreach team instead of sales, make it a little bit less scary. They're salespeople. Who am I kidding? Outreach sales is all the same. Anyway, so you can do that, and that's awesome. That's personalized. But I can also play one today. It's pre-recorded, but it'll walk through all the bells, all the whistles, all the plans, all the this, all the that. I've got one. So if that's an option, if you guys are like, you know what, I just want to see it, and I can just run it right now. And then, Andrew, I don't know if you have to bounce or if you want to stay on and you could potentially answer questions. What's your timing like?
Daniel had a question in the chat that he's asked a couple times about sculpture just above Laura's.
Yeah, 2D, the 2D. I understand your issue, Daniel. And sometimes our people on the phones will say that, you're, okay, well, I'm doing wood burning. Does it apply to me? Or I'm doing pottery, or does it apply to me? And yes, it applies to absolutely all of you. I could care less what the art is. Every single solitary one of you has a marketing problem. Things get a little bit more difficult, when you like when you're just doing sculpture, like, okay, well, how do you sell merchandise that's sculpture related, right? But you just have to get creative because you still need to hit the price points and everything else. So don't worry about those products, Daniel. It doesn't bother me. All right, Ashley, you're up next. Go ahead.
Hey, I am so sorry to have to ask you to repeat this a third time.
No.
Someone called me in the midst of you telling me the price points. I got 0 to 100 and I got 1,000 over, but what were the medium ones?
Yeah, so I'm gonna send this article that is so in depth and so ethically thorough. It will melt your mind as well as everyone else's. I'm really actually proud of it. It's gonna be in an email the minute this thing's done. It's called the Advanced Guide to Pricing. So all you have to do is click it, and trust me, you'll want to take your time on it. And are you in a plane here? Looks like you're in a plane.
I was.
Awesome.
I was in a helicopter actually.
Oh, it was a helicopter. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a distinctive photo. But yeah, just read that, Ashley, and that'll like do a way better job than anything I could articulate right now. Yeah. Okay. Well, fine. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play this thing. Andrew, you hang around for as long as you can. Do the hand-to-hand combat in there, and we'll see how it goes. It is my colleague Philip in here, who's got this really interesting half English, half South African accent, which is really, really hard to place, but it's good. So I'm gonna get it going, and don't worry, I'll roll through the little countdown timer. Hold on. Whistles, you're not. That's not it. Oh, here he is.
Asking you questions.
Moment, what? And so, Philip, I will pass it over to you. Andrea, please do help Philip on letting in the stragglers, and hope you guys enjoyed the demo and have a great rest of your Friday. Philip, take it over.
Thank you, Patrick. Welcome everyone. My name is Philip, and I'm over with the outreach team here at Art Storefronts. I'm just going to share my screen first because I'm one of those guys that have 3 screens and 20,000 tabs open up at the same time. Let me just find the right one. There we go. So you guys should be able to see my screen. It says agenda over here. Yes, lovely. So yeah, what I typically do here, guys, is I break it up into 4 parts. The first part, we're going to play customer, look at the website from a customer's perspective, the buying experience, the visualization tools, some of the key features in terms of the front end of the site. Then we're going to switch gears and go on to the back end. And I'll show you guys some of the key back office tools. And then, as Patrick mentioned, definitely the most important part by far, the marketing and the consulting. And then we'll go through the promo, the pricing, and all of the different options. And at any point, ask any questions, we'll segue into whatever you want to see. You can ask myself, or you can ask Andrea. Andrea Cross is one of our members. She's a lovely photographer. So yeah, at any point, you can ask anyone any questions, and we'll answer all of those for you. You can lift your hand, you can unmute yourself, or utilize the chat button, whatever is easier for you. I always like to show a couple of live sites before we dive in, and this is Tim Lehman. He is one of my favorite photographers that's on board. He's a National Geographic photographer. He was also BBC's Photographer of the Year. Lots of lovely wildlife that he does predominantly, even some landscapes. Yeah, really fantastic work. A couple of world famous shots, exceptional stuff. Then there are artists, of course, and Nieto is one of my favorite high-end artists that's on board with us. Rather colorful work, very eclectic, a bit on the high end, 55,000 per piece. Let's see, this one, 48,000, that kind of stuff with teams working for them, all of that crazy stuff. But then on the other side of the spectrum, there's people like Bill. doing more commercial work or fan-based art, or even people that are just starting out or doing this as a hobby to supplement their income, or they want to take it to the next level. We help everyone, the whole spectrum. It's all template-based, and Sleek is the best performing template at the moment. So this would be the one that would be loaded by default for you guys. Of course, there are tons of different templates that you can choose from. It is highly customizable. You can make it look and feel however you want. What we found is you definitely want to remove as much friction as possible. You want to make it easy for people to find what they're looking for. So that's why a clean gallery minimalistic look and feel does perform the best. You really don't want to vary too far from that. What we also found is if you don't have a lot of pieces, you simply just put them on the front page of the website, on the landing page. That does convert the highest. Now, once you go over a certain number, and typically that number is between 50 and 100, then you definitely want to start categorizing the work. And we would tell you guys, based on your work and based on the data and the different niches that you're going for, we would tell you how to categorize. Typically, artists either do it by bestsellers or by collection or by series. Again, we would help you with this. Of course, as with everything, you guys have the final say, so you can categorize however you want. Unlimited categories, blogs, pages, all of those things. Your clients click on any particular category. They would see all of the pieces that are in there. Let's say they like this piece. They just click on it, and then it's going to take them to the one-page buying experience. And with us, guys, everything is on this one page. So the open editions, the limited editions, and the original itself. So they're all one click away from each other, all on the same page. The mock-up is always on the left, and your clients can use a magnifying glass to see it in some more detail. They can also fully enlarge the image if they want. And by the way, complete image security. So for these nearly 10 years that we've been around, we never had a single incident. It's all right-click disabled, save as disabled. The high-res file on the back end is fully encrypted when it's sent to the lab. There's even anti-crawler protection. So yeah, complete image security. I'll start off with the open editions. The open editions are through the fulfillment center, and they're going to print, package, and ship for you, creating a hands-free passive income. So that's the print on demand that Patrick was mentioning earlier. So it's completely hands-free. The prints I'll show on a live site. I like to show as many live sites as possible. And this is Bill's site. He's the guy I was showing earlier with the fan-based art. And this is one of his product pages. Bill, for example, offers 5 different print mediums and 10 different merchandise options. There are about 70 plus options at the moment. I think even 80 at this point. And what I personally want to mention is you definitely do not want to offer all of them. It's simply too many options. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. Your conversion rate will definitely go down. Based on the data, you want to have between 4 and 6 print mediums and about 5 to 10 different merchandise options. And we would tell you guys, based on your work and the data and some other variables, what mediums and merchandise to offer. So all of that's part of the service. Of course, again, as with everything, you guys can offer whatever you want. Of course, you have the final say. If your clients are not familiar with any particular medium, they just have over here, they can play a video, they can read a description, and whatever your clients click on, it's going to update the mock-up on the left. So let's say clicked on a canvas, it always updates the mock-up on the left. So that would be the first step. They select whatever medium they would like. The second step would be to select any particular size, and you guys control whatever sizes you want to offer. And then any particular style for that medium. So let's say with the canvas, they can mirror the image. They can change the border color if they want, select a gallery wrap, a rolled canvas, even framing options. If you guys want to offer frames, that's also possible. And similar with the mediums, there's tons of different frames. There's over 200 frames at the moment. You definitely, again, don't want to offer all of them. We would tell you which ones to offer. And same story, your clients hover over here. They can check out the frame, and whatever frame they click on, again, it's going to update the mockup on the left. Now, if they want, they can also further visualize any particular medium or merchandise. We've got this 360 viewing tool. It works with any medium or merch. And when they click on this, it's going to generate a 360 preview of whatever they clicked on. In this case, we clicked on a canvas with a black border and a walnut frame. Your clients can move it around however they want, see it from any angle. They can zoom in as well, zoom in, zoom out, take a snapshot, add to cart, all of that stuff. So yeah, quite cool. So again, guys, all of this is hands-free. They're going to print, package, and ship for you, creating a hands-free passive income. So there's nothing you need to do there in terms of the open editions. Now, if you guys want, you can also offer limited editions. The limited editions are way higher ticket items than the open editions. And they are higher ticket items for two reasons. First one being that they would be limited to some number, 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, whatever number you want to offer. And then second of all, and actually most importantly, they would be hand signed and hand numbered by you. Now, how the limited editions work is you would get the order and the payment. You order it from the fulfillment center, have it sent to yourself, hand sign it, hand number it, and then you ship it out to your clients. So it's not automatically fulfilled like the open editions. You would fulfill the limited editions. Now, what I personally suggest is if you're going to be doing limited editions, just pre-order a couple, 2 or 3, have them hand signed, hand numbered, have them ready. So when you get that order, you just ship them out. And then for the artists in here, the original painting itself, of course. This is your highest ticket item, needless to say, and it is rather important to price the work right. So a lot of times artists either really underprice themselves or heavily overprice themselves. So we would help you price the work accordingly if you need help with that, how to factor in the packaging and the shipping and all of those things. The original actually show on a live site. This is Meg's site. She's one of our artists that's on board. I'm actually quite a fan of her work. And I'll show you one of her originals. So this is an original that she did of the late Tony Bourdain. And with the original, you obviously want to have the name of the piece, the price, and the size. You definitely want to have a little bit of wording about the piece, a bit of description. Definitely want to include that. If you want, you can also embed video on any page. And what you also definitely want to have are multiple visuals of the piece, particularly a close-up of the texture and the detail. People love to see that stuff. You can also include any work in progress. That's always a nice touch. If you have any sketches, definitely want to put those as well, because you can also sell the sketches as well. And I think that's what she did. Yeah, exactly. She also sold her sketch. And whenever the original is sold, there's a red button that appears over here that says sold. And of course, this helps with credibility and urgency. And then I'm going to go back to Bill's page over here. There are some more advanced visualization tools at the bottom. I'll start off with this one, the wall preview. The wall preview works with prints, limited editions, and the original, so with all three. And it basically simulates all of these different rooms. People can move the piece around. They can change any room, of course. There are 9 different rooms to choose from over here. Or they can simply just click on them at the bottom. Excellent tool as a reference for size and scale. A lot of people, definitely including myself, for sure, I'm very bad with size and scale, and this stuff can help quite a bit. Your clients can also change the different wall colors over here. And all of these colors are actually the most popular options at Benjamin Moore and Sherwin-Williams. So it's actually colors that people most likely have on their walls. And yeah, this feature increases conversion a good 16% on average, because what typically happens is people tend to start off with the smaller print, and then they notice, oh, that's more of a postage stamp, and they do tend to go a little bit bigger. The tool can go quite high. It can go all the way up to 96 by 46, because that's how big our labs go up to. It's all the way up to 96 by 46. And for example, with Bill, with this particular piece, it can go all the way up to 50 by 68. So it can go quite high. People can upload their own room if they want. Or even better, they can use the live preview. Now, the live preview, or the AR, the augmented reality, this one over here, is by far the most popular feature, by far. When people click on this, it's going to prompt them to take out their phone camera, and live through their phone camera, they can see your work on their walls. Lovely buying experience, very immersive, very easy to use. No need for any apps or anything like that, right? It's all part of your site. If they're looking at a print, they can actually change the different sizes and see which one works the best. And yeah, this feature increases conversion a good 31% on average. And we've even had people triple their sales once they introduce this feature. So this one's by far the most effective one as well. And then something that I personally want to show before we move on is a feature where if you want, you can have the site set up where people can filter by subject matter or by different colors or by different mediums. This search by color over here is very popular with commercial clients, especially interior designers and decorators, because part of the marketing is appealing to commercial clients as well. So if you get a significant amount of those, you definitely want to have this turned on. They love using this stuff. We also have the smart lead capture tool that's been honed over the years to maximize the capture rate. It's non-invasive, it's to the side. When people dismiss it, it's not going to come back and harass them. We found that you definitely want to offer some kind of incentive. So let's say Kim is giving 20% off the first order. And then second of all, she's only asking for the email. So she's not asking for names and last names and all of this other information. It just increases friction, it reduces the capture rate. All you need is their email. And MailChimp is our email vendor. So all of the emails are automatically sent to MailChimp. And of course, there's automated welcome emails and templates to save you time. And the last thing to mention on the front end would be the payment vendor, the merchant. Stripe is our merchant, and all of the payments go directly to you guys. So it doesn't go through us or anything like that. It goes directly to you. Stripe has the standard merchant fee. Like everyone, it's under 3%, 2 point something percent. They've got Google Pay and Apple Pay fully integrated. And they also have this lovely option called Afterpay, where anyone can purchase anything off the site. You get the full amounts up front, and your clients can break it up into multiple interest-free payments. And this has been performing quite nicely, especially with the higher ticket items around the different holidays throughout the year. So yeah, personally, I would definitely have this turned on. It can only help. It can only help. So yeah, guys, those would be some of the key features in terms of the front end of the site. Whenever you want to go on to the back end, you just click over here on Edit Site, and it's going to take you to the back end. I'm not going to overwhelm you guys too much with the back end because with this promo, you're going to be getting a tech assistant, as Patrick mentioned, for life. So they're going to do any updates and maintenance for the site. We're also going to be setting up the site for you. There's literally nothing you need to do in terms of the site. I just want to show some of the key things that are good to know. The first is that you always want to provide your tech assistant with the highest quality file that you have, the highest resolution file. Because what's really lovely is when they upload the high-res file, the technology analyzes all of the technical stuff, the DPI, the pixels, the aspect ratio, all of those things. And then based on the quality of the file, it's going to auto-populate all of the different sizes that you can offer. So as I mentioned earlier, labs can go quite high, but with this particular high-res file, the quality was good enough to go up to 80 by 60. So anything over that, when it's printed, it might be a bit pixelated or blurred. It's not going to be perfect, right? The technology won't let you offer it. And then if you guys don't want any particular size or sizes, you just tell your assistant and they'll take them off. Similar with the mediums, if there's any particular medium that you want or don't want, you just tell them and they switch them on or off. For some of you guys that came in a bit later, there's something that I definitely want to mention that's rather important. And there are quite a bit of different options when it comes to the mediums and the merchandise. There's about over 70 or 80 plus options at the moment. And you definitely do not want to offer all of them. It's simply too many options. It's just overwhelming. It's too much. Your conversion rate will definitely go down. Based on the data, you want to have between 4 and 6 print mediums and about 5 to 10 different merchandise options. And we would tell you, based on your work and based on the data, what mediums and merchandise to offer. And of course, you guys can offer whatever you want, but definitely don't offer all of them. It's just too many. Definitely not going to overwhelm me with the SEO, the search engine optimization. They're going to be doing all of that for you. If you guys are ever selling anywhere offline, you can also ask your assistant to load your selling sheet. So let's say you're going to be at a gallery, or you're doing a show somewhere, or your stuff is selling at a restaurant, you're selling anywhere offline. People can scan the QR code, they can purchase the piece directly, or they can scan the QR code and they can see all of the different prints and merchandise that are available. So many different ways to play around with these QR codes. So let's say Kim, the lady I was showing earlier, she works with a lot of interior designers in particular. And what she does is she creates a catalog. She puts all of the pieces in the catalog. She puts a QR code on every piece. And then when her interior designers are with their clients in their homes and they are browsing through the catalog, when the clients are browsing through the catalog, when they scan the QR code, it actually takes them to the AR feature for that particular piece. So it also helps her sell her pieces offline as well. Some people put the QR codes on the business cards, however you want to play around with those. And then a feature that I definitely want to show before we go on to support and all of that is a feature that's called the detective. And I'm going to show it on Bill's site. Bill is the guy I was showing earlier with the fan-based art. And this is the back end of his site. And of course, I do have Bill's permission. He does let me show the back end of his site. And with the detective, he can see everyone that's coming onto the site, what device type they're using, what website did they come from, what city or state or country they're visiting from, all of the browsing activities, everything that they did on the site. If they ever left their name or email, it pops up over here. If not, it just says guest, and you can view the contact. You can add a note, you can add a task. So if someone bought from me before, you obviously want to prioritize those people, reach out to them, see if they have any questions. On top of that, my personal favorite feature, it's called Art Buyer Artificial Intelligence, or simply Art Buyer AI. And it's essentially an algorithm, a proprietary algorithm that quite a bit of people work on, and it just gets smarter and smarter. And what it does is when you turn it on, it's going to analyze your traffic and then deliver you a curated list of the most likeliest art buyers that are actively visiting your site. So for example, Bill can go in here and he can see who his most likeliest art buyers are. So most of these people actually ended up buying something off the site. But let's find someone, or someone even bought recently. Let's find someone who didn't. There we go. Let's say Ginger over here. So Ginger was on the site. They did 85 different things. The last thing that they did was add something to their favorites, but they never bought anything off the site, right? So Bill can go and send Ginger one of these template emails, or maybe he can introduce himself and tell Ginger more about the piece that they added to their favorites. Or perhaps they can offer some kind of incentive or a discount for their first purchase. It basically helps you identify your warmest leads, and this can do quite a bit of heavy lifting, especially when you start getting a lot of traffic. This stuff can help quite a bit. Personally, I strongly suggest using it. It can top up tremendously and really make a lovely difference. And then real quick, before we go on to support, I just wanted to show you the stats as well, how that looks like. The stats also pull up on Bill's site while we're here. And I just always pull up a year up to date. And of course, I do have Bill's permission. He does let me show his stats as well. And with the stats, everything's on this one page. So Bill can see his conversion rates, acquisition, leads, sales, retention rate. There's always a little box here with some of the key metrics summarized. So let's say for the year up to date, he can see how many new contacts he had, number of orders received, total revenue for the year, average order amount. So everything's on this one page, super easy to use. And then if you guys are ever stuck or need any help, we have a lovely support center, really good, robust support center. Whatever you guys need, you can search over here, or you can go into any one of these categories. Every single one has tons of articles. Every article has videos and screenshots. It's extremely well done. If you can't find what you're looking for, or you want to chat to someone, chat and email support is on your right. If you want to talk to someone, you schedule a call over here. The live support is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 Central, and they do take a lunch break in between. The guys are world class. Yeah, whatever you need, just reach out. They'll definitely help you. But again, you are going to have a tech assistant for life. So anything related to the site, you can just send it to them. They have to do it within 1 business day, and they send you screenshots of everything that they've done. But if you need support, of course, there is this lovely support center. All right, the last part, the marketing and the consulting. And this part I do like to stress quite a bit, as Patrick mentioned earlier. It's probably the most important part by far. So as of 7 years ago, we have become leading in the world when it comes to art-specific online marketing. We have a 98.3% retention rate, and the whole marketing plan, comes in the shape of this calendar, this art marketing calendar. It is based on a tremendous amount of data, success data. It's curated by our art marketing professionals, and it's going to tell you guys exactly what to do on a daily basis. It covers everything. Social media marketing, email marketing, video marketing, lead generation, warm opportunities, niche marketing, so forth. It is designed to be 30 minutes per day to do, so it's definitely not time consuming. Maybe in the beginning, it will take you a bit longer. Then when you get into it, 30 minutes, even less. It is all pre-written copies. So you literally copy and paste to execute. And I'll show some examples now, of course. Most importantly, it's going to tell you exactly what to do for the major art buying holidays throughout the year and all those different art selling opportunities. Now, some of you guys, might have been selling for a bit already, and you know this, but artists and photographers actually do majority of their turnover around these different art buying holidays, of which November and December are the peak art selling time. On average, artists and photographers do over 50% of their turnover in the last 2 months of the year. And we even have some that do over 80% of their turnover. So there's Black Friday, Christmas, Cyber Monday, all of these different holidays. If you do it right, it can top up tremendously. I'm actually going to show you guys an internal document. This is an internal document that we provide our members with. It's a strategic overview for them to know what to focus on and what to prioritize. This is the current one until the end of the year. Now, as you guys can see, the top priority at the moment is leveraging all of these different art selling opportunities that are coming about. Typically, there's 1 or 2 of them per month, but in the last 2-3 months of the year, there is about 4 of them per month. And yeah, if you do it right, it can top up tremendously. It can make a massive, massive difference. Also, this time of the year, we're prioritizing audience growth. It's also a very good time to grow your audience. And if you do things right, we actually guarantee that you're going to get 1,000+ followers on Facebook and 1,000+ followers on Instagram. Now, the best performing artists and photographers that are on board with us are the ones that are the most consistent with the plan. Doesn't mean they do it every day. Pretty much no one does it every day. Even the guys with teams skip days here and there. But the best performing ones, whatever they can do, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it is, they do it consistently. The consistency, I cannot stress it up. It's probably 90% of your battle is just trying to follow this plan as much as you can. Now, if you don't have a lot of time, you want to try and do the stuff in red first. If that's too much for you, bare minimum, try and do the stuff with the little money bags next to them. The ones with the little money bags next to them are all of these different art buying holidays that I was mentioning, all these different art selling opportunities. And again, this is where artists and photographers get majority of their sales. So bare minimum, try and do the stuff with the little money bags next to them. Now, whatever day it is, or whatever holiday it is, you just click on that day, and it's going to tell you exactly what to do. I'll show you guys what they did for Prime Day. It always all works out for you, right? So let's say with Prime Day, first you would set up a coupon code. And the second thing was to activate the announcement bar to notify people that there's a sale on the site. And then just some easy examples. Let's say if it's email marketing, you always get the subject line, what kind of image to use, what to say. Again, all copy and paste. Similar with social media, what to say. You again, copy and paste to execute. If it's video marketing, how to create a reel, what to do, what to say, so forth, right? Everything's works out for you guys. You just copy and paste. Again, you just try and be as consistent as you can. On top of that, as Patrick mentioned earlier, there's unlimited consulting. We have these workshops on a daily basis. You go in there, you ask any questions, they consult you directly. If you can't make it to the workshops, they're actually all recorded. So let's say you missed this one, they were talking about interior designers, you can check out the recording, or you wanted to check out this interview with Meg, which is one of our multi-million-dollar artists. You can play the recording. You can check out the resources. You can binge watch every single workshop if you want. All 4,000 plus are available. And if you couldn't make it to the workshops to ask any questions, or you couldn't find what you're looking for in the recording, we have a private group on Facebook that's called Small Wins. And you can go in there, you ask any questions. Someone from our team will always answer all of those questions for you. A good number of our members in here. There's actually 9,700 members in the group at the moment. And it is such a lovely, benevolent community. They boost each other's posts. They help each other out with gigs, with marketing, motivating each other. I couldn't praise them enough. Such a lovely, benevolent community. Last thing that I'll leave you guys with is a screenshot that I actually took from the private group. And this person says that they've been with us for over a year now. And they did everything they could not to follow the marketing plan. They really didn't want to do it. They even hired 2 different people to do it for them from some other agency that I won't name, with no success. And they say halfway through January, they somehow found the will to give one of the playbooks a shot. They started with Get to Know Your Customers Day. They were 4 days late getting started. They didn't go live, but they pretty much did everything else. And they say, guess what? My total revenue in December was $750. My total revenue for January is $4,500. So yeah, trust the process and excited to see what the rest of the year brings. In a nutshell, guys, follow the plan. You'll have a lovely buying experience. You'll have unlimited support, unlimited consulting. This is what drives people to the site. This is what makes the biggest difference. Use everything that you get, especially the marketing and the consulting. And that's it in terms of everything that I wanted to show you guys. Any questions on the marketing, consulting, or anything at this point before we go through the different plans, the promo, and all of the different options? And you can ask myself any question or Andrea Cross. She's one of our members, actually. She's a lovely photographer. So you guys can direct your questions towards myself or towards her. You can utilize the chat button, as some of you have been so far, or you can just unmute yourself or raise your hand, whatever's easier for you. Oh, usually there's tons of questions. This is very unusual. Usually there's lots of questions. I see the chat has been quite busy. There's over 30 different questions. Thank you, Andrea, for answering all of those. Thank you very much. Oh, I think someone unmuted themselves. Yes, go ahead. Yoyana, did you want to ask a question? No? All right, well, if there's no questions, then we'll go straight to the pricing. I'll start off with the regular non-discounted pricing, and then I'll go into the promo. 3 plans, bronze, silver, gold, and there is a one-time activation fee that's anywhere between $2,750 and $5,000. This is a one-time fee, and it's a lifetime membership fee, and you never pay that again, of course. It's a lifetime membership fee, and I'll go into the promo pricing now. After the one-time fee, there is the monthly, which is $59 or $79 per month ongoing. If you prefer to pay annually, you can, and it's discounted. The gold, of course, is the highest plan, the advertised plan, the one with all the bells and whistles, all the features, all future features as well. So we add about 20 features per year on average, and last year we did 51 new features. And on the gold, you just get them turned on automatically. The gold is also a nice opportunity to lower your transaction fees. So instead of 15% on prints, it goes down to 10% on the prints and merchandise. And then instead of 10% on the originals and limited editions, it goes down to 5% on the originals and limited editions. And then the promo. Same 3 plans, bronze, silver, and gold, and every plan has been discounted. So instead of the usual 2,750 to 5,000, it's been discounted to between 17 and 3,400. That you never pay again. It's a one-time fee, and it's a lifetime membership fee. After the one-time fee, if you decide to go annually, with any plan, you're also going to get some additional months for free. So for example, if you went with the gold annual, that's $840 for the year. You're going to get 12 months. They come with the annual plan, of course, but then you're also going to get another 6 months free with the promo. So effectively, you're going to be covered for 12 and 6 for 18 months of hosting and service. Now, if you want, you can also roll that over into multiple years. It's only on the silver and gold. And if you buy 2 years, you get a year free. If you buy 3 years, you get another 2 years free. And then if you want, you can buy 5 years and you get another 5 years free. So they basically double it. We also have this in-house agency where we offer all of these additional services if you need them. And with this promo, you're actually going to get 2 services for free. The first one is the website setup service, where you're going to get one of our team members designated to you, and they're going to set up the site for you. So we want you to be up and running as soon as possible. Again, we're going into the busy season, Black Friday, Christmas, Cyber Monday, all of that's coming up. So we want you to be up and running as soon as possible. So we're going to be setting up the site for you. You're going to get one of our team members designated to you, and they're going to add the first 25 images. They're going to set up everything, all of the different galleries, pages, stores, all of those things. Payment gateway integration, connect your domain name, MailChimp. They're going to recommend all of the different mediums and merchandise based on your work. They're also going to optimize everything. So SEO optimization, mobile-friendly optimization, print fulfillment setup, tax, FAQ, connect your socials and your bio. And the service is $18.75. And then with this promo on any plan, we're going to be setting up the site for you. There's nothing you need to do there in terms of the site. So we're going to set it up for you so you're up and running as soon as possible. On top of that, you're also going to get the tech assistant service for free for life. This is one of our white glove services. I'm just going to scroll down here real quick. And it's basically where we're going to do anything related to the site for you after it's set up. So let's say you want to add new work on there, you want to change the pricing or the markups, and need a QR code or a catalog for a show, or you want to change the look and feel of the site, whatever, right? So anything related to the sites, they're going to do for you. They have to do it within 1 business day, and they send you screenshots of everything that they've done. So it's extremely responsive. Yeah, they're really fast. What they don't do, just to mention this, especially for photographers, they don't Photoshop or edit your images. That's not part of it. And they also don't do any coding. So if you want them to write some code or develop some new feature, that's not also part of it. So it's updates, maintenance, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, with this promo on any plan, you're going to get the tech assistant for free for life, which is awesome. The last thing, I promise, the last thing that I have to show you guys would be these jump starter packages. These are packages that are only for our new members, where we jumpstart the marketing for you, where we do all of the delegatable marketing for you. It's part of a service that's called Copilot. That's our by far most popular service. It's where we do all of the delegatable marketing for you. They're basically going to do 15 posts per month on Facebook and 15 posts per month on Instagram. So 15 on both of those. By far most importantly, they do all of the campaigns every month. All of the campaigns where you get majority of your sales, the ones with the little money bags that I was showing earlier. Typically, there's 1 or 2 campaigns per month, but as you guys saw at the end of the year when it really gets busy, there's about 4 of them, and we're going to do all of those. They execute all of the campaigns for you. So it's actually more than 2. There's about 4 per month. They're going to give your social media makeover. So they'll rewrite the description optimized for search, business manager setup, tracking pixel installation. all of the designs, banners, slides, all of those things. They'll make your social media look professional and proper. And also, whatever option you go with, you're also going to get some months free added to your hosting and service. And if you want to continue with the service after whatever period that you went with, it's actually going to renew at the discounted rate. So it's not going to renew at the usual $3.99 per month. It's actually going to renew at the discounted rate. And these are some examples of us doing the social media marketing in particular. And of course, the wording and the hashtags and everything pertains to your work and whatever art selling opportunity is coming about. So basically, you guys can follow the plan yourselves, or we can help you with the marketing and do all of the delegatable marketing for you. Now, just to mention, there are some things that they won't be able to do for you with that. Let's say if it's video marketing, it's something that you would have to record a video and to do. But everything else, whatever they can do, they would be able to do for you. It's a good 90+% of this plan they would be able to execute for you. So just to recap, 3 plans: bronze, silver, gold. There is a one-time activation fee that's been discounted anywhere between $1,700 and $3,400. That you never pay again. It's a one-time fee. If you go annually, you're also going to get some months free. You can roll that over into multiple years if you want. On any plan, you're going to get the site setup service for life, where we're going to set up the site for you so you're up and running as soon as possible. You're also going to get the tech assistant service for free for life. So whenever you need any updates, maintenance, they're going to do that for you, and they have to do it within 1 business day. And if you need help with the marketing, we can help you for 6, 12, or 24 months. I wanted to leave the best thing for last. For the last day of the promo, anyone who signs up, we are actually going to be tossing in 0 transaction fees for life, meaning that you're not going to have any of these over here. The 5 to 15%, that's all going to be 0% on any plan for life, which is definitely the best part by far. I know I went through a lot of numbers real quick, but does all of that make sense in terms of the different plans and options? And of course, any questions on the pricing, the promo, or anything at this point? Oh, again, no questions. All right. Well, in terms of sign up, just to mention that, it takes 5 minutes, and we do it together over the phone or via Zoom. You get one of our team members designated to you, and then you guys just take it from there, right? You guys just take it from there. I do want to mention that in terms of the site setup service, it is a limited number of spots, and it's first come, first serve, because it's humans that are setting up the site, so we do have an X amount of these that we can give away. So just to mention that, it is first come, first serve. And also for the last day of the promo, anyone who signs up and gets one of these Jumpstarter packages, we're going to add another 2 months free on top of the 6-month option, another 3 months free on top of the 12-month option, and another 4 months free on top of the 24-month option. I'm going to send you guys an email with this pricing sheets and all of these other links and everything that I mentioned, so you can have a proper look at everything. I'm also going to reach out to everyone as soon as possible. I'm rather booked. It's the last day of the promo, so I'm rather booked, so I'll try and reach out to everyone as soon as possible. And that's it, yeah. We'll just take it from there. Yeah, so someone asked if we can give them a call. Oh, of course. I'm going to give everyone a call as soon as we're done. And I'll also email everyone, as I said, with this pricing sheets and some other useful links for you guys to have a look at everything. As you guys know, it's the last day of the promo. They've been advertising like crazy. So I will be staying in a bit later. So yeah, you guys can also email any particular time that you want to chat, and I'll definitely accommodate that. Oh, so someone's asking about SEO services. So yeah, SEO is part of it. We're actually going to be doing all of the SEO for you. But just to mention, Ryan, SEO is not what it used to be. It's only about 2 to 3% of your sales are going to come from SEO. It's really all about following this marketing plan, driving people to the site. You know, we have a tremendous amount of data. We've been doing this for nearly 10 years, 11,000 members. We know exactly what works, what doesn't. So it's really about following this plan as much as you can. After all of these years, I've been here for quite a bit myself as well. And I can tell you guys, the consistency is 95% of your battle. whatever you're comfortable with, 2 days a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever you can do, just follow the plan as consistently as possible. And whenever you need any help, utilize the consulting. It's truly as simple as that. Any last questions? Anything else before we end? No? Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending. I also did record this demo, so I'm going to send everyone the demo recording as well if they need it. And
Thanks, everybody. We will send you all a replay and follow up as needs be. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Thanks, guys.